Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting order of the Board of Trustees, Indian River County Hospital District. Welcome to everybody. We'll start with our invocation. Frank.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the invocation that I'm going to read today, I'd like us all to take a moment and bow our heads. I'd like to reflect on the life of someone who meant a great deal to our community, Mr. Freddie Woolfork. Freddie was the very first employee of the Gifford Youth Achievement Center, and for more than 28 years, he helped shape that organization and the lives of the young people it serves. Those who knew him describe a man of deep humility, steady dedication, and a genuine love for the Gifford community. He believed in the mission of lifting others up, and he lived that belief every day through quiet service and commitment. Freddie reminded us that leadership does not always come with titles or recognition. Often it shows up in the consistent acts of kindness, guidance, and encouragement that strengthen a community over time. Through his compassion and generosity of spirit, he touched countless lives and helped build a foundation that will continue to benefit generations of young people. As we gather to conduct the business of the district, let us pause in gratitude for individuals like Freddie who dedicate their lives to serving others. May his example remind us of the importance of humility, service, and community. And may we carry forward the spirit of care and commitment that he demonstrated so faithfully. Our thoughts are with Freddie's family, friends, and the entire Gifford community. May he rest in peace, and may the legacy he leaves behind continue to inspire all of us. Amen.
Freddie.
Life well lived, and I can imagine what he's getting done up in heaven now.
Indeed.
Right?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, on our consent agenda, we have the approval of the chairman's meeting minutes dated February 18th, regular monthly meeting minutes dated February 19th, and a March disbursement of $1,870,167.30.
Move approval?
Second.
Any discussion, any changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, my report is the opportunity to read a proclamation for the Moonshot Community Action Network, designating the Indian River County Hospital District as a Moonshot organization where we support our youngest learners and their families to make Indian River County a leading literacy capital of the nation. 2026 Moonshot Community Proclamation. Whereas reading proficiency is essential to educational achievement, workforce readiness, and lifelong opportunity. And whereas Indian River County is committed to our Moonshot goal of ensuring children are ready for kindergarten and reading on grade level by the end of third grade. And whereas the school district of Indian River County has made measurable progress and is now tied for second in the state of Florida for third grade reading achievement. And whereas our community recognizes that strong early language development is a critical predictor of kindergarten readiness and future reading success. And whereas a thriving community strengthens language and literacy development across homes, early learning settings, schools, and community spaces. And whereas early screening and assessment of language and literacy skills are essential to understanding children's needs and ensuring timely support. And whereas supporting parents and caregivers through awareness, resources, and access to evidence-based programs strengthens children's early language development and long-term success. Whereas literacy begins before school, and schools can't do it alone because literacy is everybody's business. Signed by myself on this date, March 19th, 2026. So, hello, Marie, how are you? Come on up. I was so grateful to be able to read that proclamations, knowing that I have been involved for so long with the organization, with the movement. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you, Carrie. So I'm Maria O'Brien. I work for the Learning Alliance. We're the managing partner of the Moonshot Community Action Network. But as the proclamation says, literacy is everybody's business. A literate community is a healthy community, and a healthy community is a literate community. So there's such a strong correlation with health, and we really appreciate the hospital district understanding that. And Carrie and Michael, when we talk about it's a Moonshot community, it's a action network. So it really is the whole community. This is our 15-year anniversary. And these are just a little, I wanted to thank you because Carrie and Michael were two of the original trailblazers leading this movement and starting this movement. So, I know, it's really nice. Very nice. Yeah. And, as you guys, I remember taking a picture of this group. There were probably 8 people on the steps of United Way 15 years ago. So thank you. What you helped to start and have continued to move forward. We are now tied for second in the state. This past month, we had a summit with over 350 people attending from 31 states, 4 different countries, because we really are and have become this literacy capital of the nation. So thank you all so much. And again, it is a whole community coming together. It's not just the Learning Alliance, not just the school district. So we have a couple other MCAM people who are able to come in for a photo for the proclamation. So should I have them come up now?
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll go in the front row here.
Trailblazer, all right. The trailblazer, I'll have you know.
I'm standing with her at this.
FYI.
Your chairs move back.
Okay,
I
okay.
didn't see any genuflecting.
Actually, can I get the front row to move over that way a little bit so you guys are balanced?
Yeah.
Come on.
You're setting out aesthetically, yeah. A little more. There you go. So you move over by the. Screen you. Perfect. Thank. All right, everybody say. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Carrie, if you, Michael could stay standing and hold up your.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
the guy was showing horses again.
What's your ribbon?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
No.
Just a reminder.
One minute, I'll make it back.
These kids are little.
Okay. Great. Let's see, district council report. We have Dana here today.
Yes, thank you very much. All right. Our monthly meeting packets contain a copy of Form 8B, which is the statutory memorandum voting conflict. If a conflict does arise in a meeting where a trustee needs to recuse him or herself in accordance with the district policy, you will always have the form on hand and available to fill out. The attorney's overview is also included with each monthly meeting packet. This overview contains a very good summary of our practices and procedures in conducting district public meetings and also sets out the parameters for public comment. All public comment shall be heard in accordance with the district's practices for calling for and receiving public comment. Communication has been ongoing regarding the amendment to VCOM's contractual deliverables or requirements in Section 4 of the lease. Based upon discussion during yesterday's chairman meeting, there may be a change there, still open communication with VCOM depending on what moves forward with that particular property. In accordance with the vote by the trustees during the February meetings, there is an extension on that particular lease amendment, if that is the direction we go in, to make that update on or before May 20th. So there is still time to determine what the path forward is and get that done prior to that May 20th date. We have collectively continued the evaluation of VNA's request to connect to the retention pond on the parcel owned by the district and leased to Cleveland Clinic. Additional meetings have been held with relevant stakeholders to discuss the request and potential implications and path forward. In the past month, we completed a review of the current contracts and leases to which the district is a party and have compiled all deliverables in a streamlined manner to be tracked throughout the pertinent contractual terms. This exercise has and will continue to aid in ensuring contractual compliance and timely implementation of change management when required. We continue to work alongside district staff to review policies and procedures, assist with updates when needed, and implement the plan to accomplish said updates moving forward throughout the year. On the 10th Street property matter, we have continued to provide support as requested by district staff and trustees. Thank you.
Any questions from the trustees? Dana, these 7 items on here are one-liners, but we all recognize that there's a lot of work behind those one-liners. I appreciate that we keep you all very busy and really appreciate the good work.
Thank you very much.
Michael Kent, financial statement review.
5 months into the district's 25-26 fiscal year, I am again we're pleased to report that the district's financial position remains very strong. As usual, to review the February financials, I'd ask you to please turn to the last 4 pages in the financial section of your board packet. And we'll start with the 1-page landscape financial snapshot of the district's cash and investments. At the top of that page, you'll see that as of February 28th, the district had received $20,490,949 of our ad valorem taxes. That represents 92% of what we anticipate and what is in the budget. Moving to section 1 of the snapshot, this is the same every month, guys, I know. You'll see the district's U.S. Treasury holdings at the end of February. Our T-bills totaled $15,571,688. And the report shows these T-bills were earning an average of 3.569%. Section 2 shows the district's holdings in our money market account. It's the preferred deposit pool. And again, on February 28th, it held $3,965,806, and it was earning at that time 3.53%. And the third section toward the bottom shows the district's local operating accounts at Seacoast Bank, and they were holding $474,127. Altogether, 5 months into the fiscal year, the district's investment and cash holdings totaled $20,011,621. And as Frank always notes, and I usually reference it just because it's important, 99% of these holdings are in some form of allowed investment. So everything's working. The public's money's at work even when we don't need it. And thank you all for paying taxes early. So we've got that. We're earning on those payments. Let's now go to the next page, which is page 1 of the year-to-date expenses versus budget spreadsheet. As a benchmark, 5 months into the year, an even monthly distribution to our funded programs and agencies would put those expenditures at 41.67%. Looking through those funded programs and agencies, you'll see that some are under and several are over. Next month, we'll be at the halfway point in the fiscal year, and staff will have conversations, actually they're already having conversations, with those agencies that are running significantly ahead or below of their approved funding. As I've said before, we don't want them waiting to the last minute to come to us if they need. So I appreciate staff already being on that, and they know that 6 months is a perfect benchmark to see where they really should be ending their year. Moving to the middle of the last page of this spreadsheet, you'll see that the total for all program expenses at the end of February was $9,096,056. That represents 40.9% of the total approved budget. I don't have this written down, but I'll back up. Those first 2 items, the low-income payments, the LIP payments haven't happened yet. They're going to drop any month. And those are usually, that's a one-time payment, isn't it? When they do come, I'm pretty sure. If those were in, and when we add in the $250,000 month, yearly payment to TCCH. You know, that's about 4% of the total budget, just showing a couple of things that aren't there. So we're basically still on track with where we need to be. The bottom half of the last page shows the district's administrative expenses. You can see the total admin through February totaled $810,792. That's 56.7% of the approved budget. One of the big items that hit there was in Frank's notes on the cover sheet for the financial section. There were a couple of things, but the big one was $135,000 or $36,000, which was a one-time full year payment for all of our insurance. Combined, the hospital district's total program and administrative expenses totaled $9,906,848. That's 41.9% of the approved budget. As a point of comparison, at this point last fiscal year, our total expenses were 7.498, and that's about 37.1% of last year's budget. We're spending more, but it's a larger budget this year is the bottom line. I will point out, and I'm not sure that anybody really studied that hard, possibly Trustee Mackett. If you looked really carefully at financials and then my report, you'd have noted that the total program expenses was off $141 and some cents. I was in a hurry to get it to Kate so she could get it out to you. I had simply transposed the amount of money for IRC Medicaid share, which is the bottom item on page 2 of that spreadsheet. It should read 270115. If you do that, I was in sync. It just took me a bit to find that. With that, Madam Chair, that concludes my report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions or try to if the trustees have anything. Thank you.
Move. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Executive Director report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a brief report. Many of the items in my report we discussed yesterday, and I did include, I'm sure all the trustees saw, an update on the property tax elimination and where we are with that, as that's quite relevant to us. The one item I did want to mention, though, was I didn't want to leave this off our radar because it's still an issue in the community that we're working together with the hospital and local nonprofits to solve, is when we have homeless folks who are discharged from the hospital that still need medical respite care. And so we're having conversations about solving that ideally for both the short and long term, because it is a need for our community. And we don't have an immediate solution. So we are working to solve that. So I do want to give an update. Well, I'll have Jenny give an update on a couple items. Jenny, if you could, please.
Well, first of all, I want to just give you an update on the LOI process that has concluded. February 20th, if you recall, was the deadline to receive the LOIs. We received a total of 16 new program proposals submitted for consideration. And of these 16, 9 proposals were submitted by existing community members, and then 7 were submitted by new community partners. Following your review and consideration, 6 of the 16 proposals advanced to the request for funding application cycle. And all of the agencies have been notified. With that being said, also the application process has opened. It's opened on March 6th. And it's going to close on April 7th. So we've got some time left in that. I have been watching the portal. It tells me when someone's opened, to start their application process. So they're rapidly filling those out. So we should be seeing those. And so similar to the LOI process, you'll receive, access to the EC Impact. You'll be able to we can even give you a summary, and then you have access to the full application. And then like last year, there will be an evaluation that you will complete on all of the programs. And that will begin somewhere in like April 16th and go till about May 8th. And then we will have our first meeting. The first chairman's and funding discussion meeting is scheduled for May 20th. And at that time, we'll have those 6 new proposal applicants come and give maybe a 10 to 15 minute update on what the program is. And then that'll give you an opportunity to ask some questions. And then following in subsequent meetings, then we'll have any applicant that you want to come and give presentation also to answer any questions that you may have regarding their proposal. And that's basically it.
Thank you, Jenny. Any questions for Jenny on?
And,
Yeah.
and I did want to just say thank you so much for your prompt attention to those LOIs. And I know it's a process, so we appreciate it.
Thanks, Jenny. So I did want to, in honor of Camp Haven and Mr. Bradley being here and all the good work they do, I wanted to read an impact story. We're going to call this Jason's story. Thanks very much, Chuck. For much of his life, Jason struggled with addiction that began in his teenage years. Over time, those challenges led to estrangement from his family and ultimately homelessness. By his mid-30s, Jason found himself living on the streets without identification, stable work, or any support. Like many individuals facing homelessness, each day was focused on survival rather than rebuilding a future. Determined to turn his life around, Jason made the difficult decision to enter a detox center and begin recovery. After completing treatment, he secured a job at a local car wash and tried to regain stability. However, without reliable housing or support, missing a single payment forced him back onto the streets. Now, Jason eventually learned about Camp Haven, a structured residential program that provides stability, accountability, and the opportunity to rebuild. He entered the program seeking structure and support and quickly began taking advantage of the services offered. Through commitment and hard work, he progressed into phase 2 of the program, demonstrating responsibility and a renewed focus on his future. Today, Jason is working at a local bicycle shop, saving money and paying down past debts. He has begun planning for the next chapter of his life and hopes to enroll in welding school, building a skilled career that will help him, that will allow him to support himself long term. Reflecting on his own journey, Jason shared the following. I was sleeping on the streets with no ID, no family, and no hope. Camp Haven gives me purpose. Now I'll wake up with a reason to keep going. I'm sure that's music to your ears and your staff. Jason's story is a powerful reminder that recovery and stability are possible when individuals are given structure, support, and opportunity. Programs like Camp Haven, supported by community partnerships and investments from the Indian River County Hospital District, help individuals move from homelessness and addiction toward independence, purpose, and hope. Thank you for that. Madam Chair, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Any questions for Frank? Okay, hearing none. Chuck, well, welcome. Glad to have you here today.
Glad to be here. I'd like to say Jason's story is unique, but I hear that story every day about somebody that's come out of rehab, trying to get their life together. And guess what? These guys spent 90 days, 6 months in a rehab facility. They come out, they have nothing, no assets. They've used their insurance. Sometimes they're employed, but the employment is not enough to sustain them. So hopefully they show up at Camp Haven and we go through an application process. And Jason is just one of those 70% of our population. I've sent the numbers and I trust everybody's read that, but we've had 20 unique individuals we've served in the last 5 months. And along the way, we've learned some stuff. Since we're getting a lot of guys that come out of various rehabs, well, we finally got smart. These rehabs, they do some of the background work for us. So now we ask that the individuals sign a release and that we get access to what they call a biopsychosocial, which basically tells me everything I need to know about their addiction, mental health, their life growing up. And that lets us, or helps us, screen folks out that we can't serve that have a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, untreated bipolar. I'm not equipped to deal with that. Okay, so the second thing we've learned, and it was kind of shocking that we bring these guys in and we'd ask, okay, once you get in, you got to get a sponsor, you got to be in a 12-step program, and you got to go to Thrive, which is our most significant community partner, and get eval and assessment for treatment. Well, we found out, they get in, they're working, I don't have time for that. So we finally got smart, and that's become part of our admission protocol for guys that are in recovery, that step one is you got to have a sponsor. You got to be in a 12-step program, and you've got to go to Thrive for the initial addiction assessment. Since we've implemented that, we've had 0 relapses. 0. Now, I'm not saying it's a panacea, but it sure as heck helps. During this 5 months period, we had 3 relapses, okay? None of those guys did the 12-step sponsor or the eval. So something in that's working. In terms of psychological counseling, we had, I believe, 155 encounters with these guys. And it's been very rewarding. I've got, his name's Bruce. Maybe I'll write a story up for him sometime when you ask me. But he's going to be graduating today. He has a story very similar to Jason's, but I've taken a long way around the barn. If it's not for our community partners such as Thrive, the help of the hospital district, and our psychological counseling program, we can't make these stories possible. And in the long run, our goal is to reduce substance abuse in this county, because it's becoming quite an epidemic. We see it every day, and I see it on the way to work. These guys, a lot of them aren't ready for this. Hopefully they will. But that's what we're doing. And any questions in me?
Michael?
Yes, sir.
I circled one piece of information. It was noted, housing at exit. Goal of 70, actual 60. I'm not necessarily concerned about being 10% off. If they've successfully completed the program, where are they going if they don't have housing?
Okay. The 2 that did not successfully complete the
I
program.
thought that was probably the answer, but I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the guys that relapsed? That's them.
Okay.
That's them. I can't tell you for sure if they ended up on the street. I don't think so, but I also can't verify where they went.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Because a lot of times when they relapse and then we confront them, look, here's your choice. You go to Thrive, you get your assessment, you sign up for an IOP, and by the way, I'm grounding you to campus except for your work. They'll disappear in the middle of the night. I don't know. So.
The other thing that surprised me was that none of them had taken advantage of maybe finishing and getting the GED. I know you're going to look at that, but that just.
We had that on our treatment team, management team list. Of all the years I've been there, we've had numerous guys with no GEDs. I think I've had 3 out of hundreds of men that have pursued a GED, and maybe 2 of those went on to professional school. It just, I don't get it. I just don't get it. We're looking at things, maybe we do an incentive sort of program to get them to do it. Don't know, but we're going to try.
Yeah.
We're going to try.
Any other questions?
Thank you for what you do.
Great. Thank you so much for your support. We truly appreciate it. Couldn't do it
You and the
without you.
team, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any unfinished business? New business? On the other business, I know this is a short meeting agenda. We need to take the short meeting agenda because we've got a lot of hard work coming up in the next several months. So,
We did a lot of heavy lifting yesterday.
and we did a lot of heavy lifting yesterday. So I don't want anyone in the community to think that this agenda denotes what we're doing and, or the importance of what we're doing. We've got a lot of work coming up and we've been doing a lot of work. Just happens this one was a little quicker and that's how it rolls. Any public comment? Okay, then I will adjourn the meeting.